Teresa, welcome. You came all the way to San Antonio.
Yes, I did.
I'm so glad. So I already told you, but to tell everyone else, it was a goal of mine to do an entire season of this podcast. I wanted to get up until about 8 to 10 episodes, and I think we're at 9. And so we're like right in that middle part. And I've been struggling to get through the previous episode, which it will be out by the time this episode comes out, obviously, but I don't know when. And that's totally fine. I haven't beat myself up. I've just had so much going on at work, and I'm just excited. I was excited that I finally made it to an entire season that I said I was going to do. I didn't start a project and not finish it. Yay, Anthony. But ending it with what I think is going to be a fun conversation, hopefully.
I think it will be.
Music is always been a part of my life. And when you reached out to be on here, you had talked about wanting to discuss what concerts and music and how it works for our autistic brains and everything, because everything has a structure and all that. And I just thought it was I was really excited about it. I was like, this is cool that it's a fun topic, music that I enjoy. I had never thought of your perspective on it. So that was also interesting. And it's going to be the season finale. I'm not going to stop the podcast, but instead of going season to season, it's just going to be every now and then. And I just enjoy sitting down, having conversations with people, especially in person. So it's fun. So thank you for being here. Long-winded intro, but I don't know. Okay. I told you that I was going to throw everything out. I wasn't going to try and do any segments or plan anything out, which it may be a bad idea. We'll find out.
We're going to find out together.
Yes. It's going to be a journey. But I do want to make sure I touch on what is your neurospice flavor?
Oh, God. I don't want to say it's a complicated order, but I mean, it's there. Let's say it's just really flavorful. Okay. So AuDHD, situs inversus, colitis, dyspepsia, and a whole bunch of love thrown in.
Okay. Whoa.
Complicated order.
Yes.
Complicated order.
You lost me after AuDHD. I have never heard of those. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So we're already down a new path.
Situs inversus. So when you're developing in the womb, your inner organs are originally opposite. And then as you grow, it kind of moves back into your normal, where it should normally be. Mine stayed put. So all my organs are mirror imaged.
Whoa.
So instead of my heart being on the left side, it's on the right.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. It's rare. It's a rare thing. And I want to say Enrique Iglesias has this.
What?
Yeah. So not a lot of people have it. It's a rare thing, but yeah, that's situs inversus for you. Yeah.
My brain's just been blown. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Okay, this may be a bad choice to say, but I'm just gonna do it. Okay. So when you have to do the Pledge of Allegiance, do you do
do that? So when I was younger, I got in trouble for it because I was doing it over my right, but
this is literally where it's at.
Yeah, no. At one point, my mom had to pull teachers aside and explain to them what I had, and that's why I was doing it wrong, even though I was putting my hand over where my heart is. The teachers always thought oh no, you're doing it wrong. It's no, it's right here.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but I mean, now I kind of do it in the center, so nobody's really batting an eye. But before, I was always doing it over where my heart is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. Okay. Crazy. Okay. And what did you say after?
So
What else?
colitis.
What is that?
So this is the stuff where it's like kind of like not good, but
We don't have to go too into it either.
it's nothing bad. I guess it's more due to immunocompromising stress and things. And then I was reading in a study where like 1 in 4 autistic people have issues with their like GI and everything, and colitis can fall onto that list. So that's pretty much like your immune system is attacking itself. And for me, it was just like colon and things like that. So and then dyspepsia kind of follows suit. So if you're like too stressed, your gut and your brain axis kind of just don't align well, and then you start getting hunger pangs, but they're not from hunger, it's more from stress, and it can get really painful if you're not like maintaining your stress levels. So
Interesting.
so basically I can't be too stressed out or my GI is going to throw a fit. So I have to be really careful with being stressed, because if I don't, one or the other or even both can flare. So
Right. Okay.
yeah.
Interesting.
Lots of fun. It's a fun.
So those are all the flavors.
It's fun. Yes, all the flavors. All the flavors.
I don't want to dive too deep into it, but like, in order to prevent you from like being too stressed out, like, do you have things that help you? Like, do you have
music?
Music?
Yeah. Music being one of them. Any sort of body movement. So like I have to like walk, or I have to like work out, or like lift some weights and things like that. Like anything in that combination, I'm like, that's my happy place. So anything with music and moving my body, like my stress instantly goes away.
Okay.
Or it can help like expel any feelings that I'm like masking, or I'm just like not being able to identify what I'm feeling. So then once I turn on like some music and I'm just like getting all that like energy out of my body, like I instantly feel better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those are all things that I always strive for, and I never do.
Oh, no.
Well, not never do. I've actually been pretty good, like stretching in the morning, and that's been super helpful.
Yeah.
Music is a similar thing for me too. Just, I guess, why we're here.
Yes, we are.
Okay. So where do we begin with music and
gosh.
AuDHD?
I don't know where to begin. Maybe we can begin with how it helped when I was younger. I feel like early on.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, yeah, no, don't interrupt. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm trying to get better at that.
I do
I
with him all the time
now,
too.
Where I'm like, I understand I'm interrupting you, and I understand that I get upset when I'm interrupted, and I know I'm a contradiction.
You need to get the ideas out. It's just like you have an idea, and it's like I need to get it out right now before I forget.
See,
that's how I think.
I was saying like maybe this might be a bad thing that I'm not going by the previous structure. It's now coming out. So I was going to ask, and this is probably, you were already going to go into it, but like, what was your journey to finding out like your neurodivergence? And was it when you were younger?
I mean, I can say that it definitely started when I was younger, but being able to identify what it was kind of clouded. Because I feel like at the time when people were getting diagnosed and everything, I think a lot of parents didn't want to really believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought that it could be something you can kind of outgrow. And that's where I feel like I fell in my experience. So when I was younger, I was definitely born different with the situs inversus thing. They found that out like straight out of the womb. Because they were like, yeah, her heartbeat is not where it should be. And then they found out after, it's like, oh yeah, she's got situs inversus, but she'll be okay. But I think my development was like, this baby's gonna be different. Like from the beginning. So once the toddler stage started happening, then my parents were starting to see like, oh, she's not responding to her name being called. instead of playing with my toys, I would be lining them up, or they would give me a bag of candy. I wouldn't eat it. I would just line everything up by color in a row. And they thought that was really bizarre because what kid doesn't want to like just eat the candy right away? But I didn't want to. I had a structure. And then when it came to certain household items, I needed them to be in a certain place. Like remotes had to be in a certain area. And if they moved it, I would just go nuts. I would go crazy. And then sounds. The biggest trigger was being on an airplane. And I still have this trigger to this day where airplane toilets, they're so loud. I have to close my ears. And when I had my first experience, I think I was 3 years old, and I'm expecting that kind of more quiet flushing sound, but when it was flushed and it was loud, I screamed and I embarrassed my mom because of just I was not expecting how
Yeah.
loud that was. So when it came to them getting me eval'd, this is where it kind of gets a little cloudy because they said I had autistic tendencies and they prescribed me Ritalin. My mom gave me Ritalin once and she didn't like how I was. She just said I was like a zombie. I wasn't acting like myself. So shortly after, she like flushed all the pills down the toilet, and basically they decided to kind of raw dog me for 30 years and just like, we're just going to throw you in activities so you can just like make friends and do the things. And it just did not work.
That sounds stressful.
And I think that was like the main reason why I ended up getting colitis in the first place was I think they wanted to try to like grow me out of my tendencies.
Yeah.
And I think we were able to get away with it when I was a little younger because, when you're a kid, it's a lot easier to make friends and to be in social groups, whether you're in a sport or in Girl Scouts and things like that. So I think they were able to get away with it for a while up until high school. And that's where I really started struggling with like peer groups and things like that. And then I was diagnosed with colitis at 17, so right before senior year of high school. And by that time, I was like kind of becoming more recluse. Like I just didn't want to be around people. I would be like eating my lunch in the bathroom or going to like the art room or the photography room where my favorite teachers were, being able to just, kind of be with myself and get away from the students and the cliques and the hierarchical structures that they were all creating. And no. And then my early 20s weren't as good either, because then it was me trying to figure out like how to make friends and stuff. Like I think there were periods where I had friends, but then it would just kind of die out because I wasn't good at maintaining them. And then I was just going full-fledged into like relationships and being really attached. And that wasn't really good because I was just getting into bad relationships and more stress, more flares, not understanding why certain friendships weren't working or why certain people were like taking advantage of me and my kindness. And then I met my partner, who's now my husband. We ended up meeting at work because I was transferring into his warehouse. And then that's how we ended up working. We were in like similar departments. And there was something, it's like that scene in Spider-Verse where Peter Parker and Miles Morales are like, kind of getting the spidey senses and like, yeah, wait, you're like me. There's something about you that I'm just like, you understand me in a way that a lot of people don't. And that was our exchange where it's like, there's something within us that like we understand. There's a mutual understanding. And we were best friends that whole time. And then I think it was around COVID where we were kind of just getting more information, being like, I, th- I think I might have, I think I'm autistic. And with my partner, it's like, I'm pretty sure I have ADHD. So I think I was more inspired to get a proper eval because he was getting his. Um, and at first I was like, I don't know if I'm autistic or not, because I kept getting information from like my parents being like, no, that can't be it. You're not autistic. But then they would use it to their advantage whenever it worked for them, being like, oh, those are your autistic tendencies. So I could never really get a footing on like, am I autistic or am I not? So once my husband got his eval for being having ADHD and that being totally confirmed, I'm like, do you know what? I think it's about time that I get an eval. So summer of 2021, um, I did an online eval with like a whole bunch of Skype calls with different people asking me questions, basically doing the whole eval thing. And then I had all this paperwork I had to do that I had to send in. Um, and I think we were doing that for a little over a month. And then July of 2021, so we had just moved to Texas and I was finally getting my eval. And sure enough, they were like, yeah, you were very autistic from the jump, but we wanted to go do the whole eval just to be sure, but you don't have to worry. You're definitely autistic. I'm like, oh, thank God. I have an answer for once. But they were like, but you're showing a lot of signs of ADHD. I think we're going to test you for that. And I'm like, what? I'm like, ADHD too? And they're like, yeah, we're going to eval you for that. So they sent me more paperwork and I turned it in within a week. And then surely they were like, yep, yeah, I have ADHD too. And I was flabbergasted. I was like, the autistic, yeah, like I understood that. But the ADHD, I'm like, no way. But now that I have the answers and I can look back, I'm like, I definitely had ADHD as well. And they were both battling for supremacy,
Yeah.
you know. And it just sucks to not have had that information when I was a kid. I think I would have been able to really navigate life a lot easier. And I don't think it would have been as difficult or as stressful than me trying to just raw dog it and being like, I'm going to fit into this group, I think, and then have it not work and being like, what's wrong with me? It's like, I know, like, I'm not a shitty person, but there's
Mhm.
just something that isn't aligning. But now having those answers, it's so nice to just be able to figure out, like, oh, I'm overwhelmed right now. Okay, I just need to go into a corner, put my headphones on, just get a blanket and just be in the dark and know I'm going to feel better in a little bit.
Yeah.
It's nice to know. And I wish I knew when I was a kid because I think it would have saved me so much trauma and stress.
Mhm.
But I'm glad to have found out now than later. I don't know what I would have done if I was like, oh, I'm like 85 years old and just realizing, being like, well, that's my life. It's like it's gonna end like any
That does
day.
sound more depressing than finding. 'Cause I didn't find out until like my late 30s, and I'm 42 now. And um, man, it was just I went through a like, oh, this is nice to like going through like a week or two of being like, what would my life have been like if? And now it's just like, I one of the thing that like really worked for me was thinking back of like, when I was growing up, like we didn't have all of the resources that we do now, like that we do now. And like, so it's just like, maybe it just would have wound up the same or maybe even worse, Um, when I told my mom that I was diagnosed with ADHD, or yeah, ADHD, um, she didn't believe me. but it's like I wasn't the hyperactive, kind. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, so like even my mom was just like, I mean, she understands now, I guess, but um, I grew up the same way. Like I refused to think that as I started to like learn more about it, I was just like, I don't know, like, just because I always thought it was just like kids, hyperactive boys, and I was never a hyperactive boy. Like I had a friend of mine who was just off the rails all the time, and then when he got on, I think he was on Ritalin. I don't know what he wound up getting on, but he was a completely different person. And um so like as I'm like learning more about it, I've got all these like discrepancies and all that. So anyway, I I've come to the conclusion to myself that like I'm actually okay with it now. Like I've got all the tools now, then like the know-how of like, yes, I'm getting close to like burning out. Like take a chill pill, Anthony, or
Mm-hmm.
bring your headphones with you because it's just gonna be chaos over there. Like just cut out the noise. Um anyway, don't know where I was going with that, but
No, I mean,
um
I think that's all good. I mean, I think for a while there was a grieving period that I had where I'm like, I'm glad I have my answers, but I'm just so angry that I had to just go through a lot of traumatic periods and just not understand why. And like you said, having like the tools and the components to help now validates everything where
mhm,
it's just like, okay, cool, it wasn't me. And now that I have resources and I have tools, it just makes life and navigating situations so much easier. So, exactly like you said, it's like certain situations, I'm like, okay, gotta pack some fidgets, gotta get my like loops, my headphones, and know what to expect. Or for me, like I plan ahead. I'm a big planner where I'm like, okay, we're doing this. All right, is it gonna be cold? I need a jacket. Is it gonna be loud? Okay, I need some like headphones or some like little earbuds to
mhm.
mute the noise. And it's, yeah, I think just having all that now definitely helps in my adulthood. So now I'm not having to struggle. So at least the rest of my life is like, oh, it's not going to suck as hard because I actually have the tools and the
Yeah.
knowledge to know, like, okay, I'm feeling a certain way. At least now I can address it without being like, okay, I'm just going to have to raw dog it. Here we go.
Yeah. I I feel much better now that I don't have to do that. Well, not even like knowing that I'm raw dogging life, but like uh, just unaware, like now I'm aware of what what's going on with me, I guess, and
Yeah.
the environment and everything. So, this is a random thing that came to my mind when you were talking about
Hmm.
like growing up and having to like color coordinate everything and everything.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be a funny story because my wife was just like losing her shit, like laughing. So I'm someone that I don't got a very much like a fashion sort of sense to me. I wear out things to the point where I don't know if anybody can see, but like my shoes are just like tearing apart. And so I'll wear things down to the point where it's just like, okay, maybe I do need to do these things. And then I sort of like, well, I have to get past the like feeling guilt for buying something for myself.
Oh my God, that is me all the time. I
So,
feel that so hard.
okay, so I my socks were just they had so many holes in them. And I was like, all right, I'm helping out a friend. I'm gonna photograph a wedding with him next week. And I was like, all right, I should probably get some nice socks that don't have holes in them. And it's like I'm gonna shop. It was Mother's Day weekend. So I was like, I'm just gonna order them online and just pick them up. So that way I don't have to deal with the crowd. Well, I'm online looking and overwhelmed because I can't remember the kind that I normally wear, which is like not the like I don't like the long like only if I'm wearing boots.
Right.
So I asked my wife and I was like, which ones do I order? And she's like, I think it's the like low ankle. So I go to pick up, get back home, and I realize, no, they're the wrong ones.
Oh no.
So
no.
I go back the next day on Mother's Day, and it was chill. I get back home, and she was like, were you staring in the aisle for a very long time? And I was like, yes. Here's the dilemma. So I returned the other ones, and I wound up looking in the aisle. So I find the ones that I had previously, and I always want to wear the same thing. I always buy the same jeans, the same shirts, all black, like plaid shirts for the winter. I've just got my uniform.
Yeah.
And that's all I want. I just want the same thing every time.
All right.
But I'm looking at the socks going, well, these say they've got more cushion in the heel and all that. And I got flat feet. So I was thinking like, well, do I go with the ones I normally get? Or do I go with the ones with the heels? Now, the issue was the ones with like the extra heel stuff had designs on them.
Okay.
Which I don't want the designs.
Yeah.
I don't care about the designs. But I guess it doesn't necessarily matter because I'm going to be there.
Yeah, they're not going to show.
Yeah. So, and these are like, I've actually wearing them right now. Like, it got, it's like a little design right there,
It's not too bad.
It's not bad. You can't even see it, like it's just mainly in here. So,
yeah.
But the issue came because it was like a pack of 6 and each pair was a different design. Now, I struggle with laundry. And I've come up with my own little routine where I just hang up shirts. I don't fold. And the only thing I do fold are my socks.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, it doesn't matter because no one's going to see the patterns. But for me, it's like, no, they all have to match up, even though it doesn't matter. And I struggle with laundry. So I'm like, do I get the socks with the patterns, even though I know it's going to be an extra mental thing of having to sit and match up all the socks, even though it doesn't matter? It matters to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought, I came home and I was explaining this all to my wife and I just belted out. I was like, I don't understand why it all can't be the same.
Yes.
And she was like, only you would complain about it not being the same. I was like, it needs to be the same.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I just thought it was like the perfect like ADHD thing because they all need to be the same, but like I also don't want to take the mental bandwidth of having to go, oh, this is this design, this is this design. Like, I don't want to deal with that. But they have to be folded.
Yes.
They're all the same.
I think as we age, I feel like having convenience just to ease our minds is just worth the investment. Because I feel like as we get older, like we're just going to have less and less spoons. So it's just like pick the easiest thing that's going to make you happy versus like don't overcomplicate it. Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So like if it's working, just stick with it. Because I feel like there might be like opportunities where you can deviate a little bit where it's like, it's just one pair of socks. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, and I deviated and I'm now
6 pairs. That's like,
it.
Yeah. That's
well, I went
lot,
and bought
like,
more of like the old kind.
Oh,
so
okay, yeah.
I'm back to it. But now I've got 6 pairs where I'm like, ugh.
Now you just have to wear like one pair, like just
and I don't even like them that much either. Like now I'm like, they're too tight. Like, I don't know. So it's a whole thing. Yeah. When you were talking about the colors and like the conflicting, like 2 sides, it was just like, oh, I need to tell this story because it's just like perfect. It's the best of both worlds.
It really is. It's so fun having our brains. It's joy. boy.
Um, okay, so music, like,
Music.
wh-
Yeah.
what is it about like music for you and your ADHD and all that? Like, has music always been like something that's comforting for you growing up? Do you play instruments? Like, I don't know, like anything.
Um, Music's always been a comfort. I think that's probably one of the first, maybe like I don't know how to word it. I guess it would be like maybe the first coping mechanism I've ever learned. So like even as a kid, it's like you put on a sing-along tape. Like there used to be those Disney sing-along song videos where it's like you put that on and it's predictable because it's like, oh, you've seen those cartoons or you've seen these movies and you're able to sing with it. And like me and vocal stimming was a huge thing when I was younger and having like delayed speech. So I would just be using noises to
Mm,
communicate or just being in my room, being stressed and just like turning on a Spice Girls CD and just dancing it out. It always made me feel good and it made me feel more balanced. So I know it's played a really big factor in my whole life having music. Instruments.
I was just asking.
My my parents forced me into piano because my cousin was teaching lessons and it just wasn't really my
Yeah.
thing. He had a really old school style and at the time it just wasn't for me. And then I tried to pick up guitar once, it was just too hard. Otherwise it's just been like vocal stimming and singing and stuff like that. I'm not like Celine Dion, but you know, it just feels good to just be in a car on the road and screaming your favorite lyrics, just not giving a fuck.
Yeah,
Like it feels
feels
good.
good. Yeah.
Or even at like a concert where it's like you know you're singing off key, but so is everyone around you, but you're all singing the same thing.
But for
So it
me,
feels
I
good.
hate it when you're like when they do like they try to get like the claps going for like the crowd and like pretty much half or more than half of the crowd is off beat. Drives me insane. I hate it so
It's like
much.
quit while you're ahead.
Everyone
You're ruining
stop.
the song.
So that's what ruins it for me. But for some reason, like the out of key, like people singing or whatever, it don't bother me. I'm like, this is cute. Like, look at them.
Yeah,
Everyone's
it's
enjoying themselves. But the moment
exactly.
there's like offbeat clapping, I just lose my mind.
You're just like, what are you doing? Yes. I don't think that upsets me as much. I think what bothers me is just when you go to a concert and there's people there that like just like there's smog and they're just like, why am I even here? And it's like, why did you even come?
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the only thing that really bothers me. It's one thing if you're like going to a concert and you're brand new, maybe you've never heard this artist or this band before, and you're just going at it with a different lens. But it's like the people that like genuinely show up and they just want to be misers about it and just feel like, like all these bands suck, blah blah blah. And it's like, then why did you even
Why are
come?
you here? Yeah. You can leave.
You're like really hurting my vibe right now. Like go outside.
Yeah. I, sometime last year, I was at a show and there was somebody. It was two couple or no, it was one couple. There's two people. Um, they were like so drunk, but then they were also just like so loud. I was like in the middle, but like outside. It was like an indoor venue, but then they had the sides open. So like I'm as far in as I can go. And there was plenty of space for them to like go and chit chat elsewhere, but they were just like so loud, talking over the music. I couldn't enjoy the show. I wound up leaving like not. I wish I wouldn't have gone to the show.
I my God. Like that literally just reminded me of one of our first concerts we attended first moving here. I want to say it was our second concert since moving to Texas. So this is back in 2021. We had gone to see Jai Wolf and Porter Robinson. So this was more of like an EDM eccentric show. Um, but it was at ACL Live. I want to say. And we're big fans of Jai Wolf, because we had caught him at like a little like nerd festival in California back in like 2016 or 17. So we're like, oh, let's go see Jai Wolf. And the tickets were pretty affordable. So it's like, yeah, well, yeah, let's go. I kid you not. Everyone was talking. Everyone was chatting. I'm like, dude, he's literally playing right in front of you. It's a beautiful set, and yet everyone was chatting away. And once the headliner came for Porter Robinson, we maybe stayed for 3 or 4 songs, and I was already over it. I'm like, this was the first EDM show that I've ever attended where people were just talking the whole time. I was not used to it, and it really pissed me off. And I was like, do you know what? I'm done. We need to go. I
Yeah.
can't. I couldn't power through. I was just so mad. I was so mad.
I mean, I wonder if it's because of like the time period, with like
It might
COVID and
be.
all that. Everyone's needing social time, and
Yeah, it might be, but
I
it's
mean,
like,
it's still doesn't like, I'm not trying. I'm just trying to like analyze. It still doesn't make it right
yeah,
or whatever.
you're trying to see both sides and
Yeah, yeah.
understand it. I totally get it. I guess for
Doesn't
me,
mean I still wouldn't be mad, but
yeah,
I don't
I
know.
no, I get it. I analyze things in that way too. You want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, it's like it's one thing where it's like a few people maybe they're like saying like, "Wow, I've never heard this guy before." Like, who's that?
Yeah.
Versus like they're just talking about work or talking about school or talking about boyfriend drama. It's like,
So
you
you
guys
folks.
chose this? You chose this to do that? Like, I don't know. My mind was just flabbergasted. I couldn't understand. And I was that upset that I was like, I can't do this anymore. But I can say that like concerts have been getting better. I think it was just that one show where it was kind of, I don't know what kind of a crowd it was. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It really depends on crowd too, because I think the older that you get, the more focused they are on the band. And I noticed this a lot when we went to go and see Bruce Springsteen a few weeks ago, where it
Nice.
was an older crowd. Yeah, there were people like our age there, but it was a much older crowd, but everyone was focused in on the band. Not very many phones out. People were just glued and watching the stage because it was an older time. They didn't have phones back then to record or anything like that. So the older crowd was more like, "Oh, we're going to focus on the music and be in the experience."
Yeah.
And that was very refreshing. I was just like, "Ah, like shows need to be like this." Or when we saw Ghost a few years ago, it was a no phone show. And that was great because everyone was immersed in the experience and it just made everything better,
Yeah.
you know? It's one thing if you want to like take out your phone for like a few things or you want to take a picture or two, fine. But when you're standing there with your phone for 2.5 hours, I'm like, oh,
So I
I
struggle with this a lot.
don't
I struggle with this a lot um, because I do agree, like, I want everyone to be like immersed into it. I feel like it makes it such a fun, like more fun experience in general because everyone's there. Like, you've got everyone who loves this band, like you've similar interests. Like, um, sometimes you can have cool conversations with a complete stranger just that you'll never see again, but it's all because you're talking about this one band that you both enjoy. And so I love that aspect of it, of like having that like cool, like just connection, I guess. I'm also too someone that I'm okay if someone wants to like film something every now and then, but if it's just like the part that I struggle with is I'm so short that everyone in front of me is always taller.
yes.
So I'm like having to deal with this, and then if I've got like this, I'm just like I
Yeah.
so stressful. But I'm also too someone that like I will at some point I will snap a photo, and it's not because
Same.
it's like, oh, it's this is such a great photo, or, like, I'm going to print this and put it on the wall. No, like, it's just, I just want to remember that, like, and every now and then it'll pop up into my phone. Like, I'll be scrolling and be like, oh yeah, I remember I went to that show. So I'll forget. And then it's kind of funny because when I was a kid, you had everyone pulling out their lighters, during certain songs. And now it's like the phones. So I kind of see that too. Like, it's just
Yeah.
like, no one's going to have their lighters out, but you got a cool little moment. Once again, connection.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also, what I was getting at is, I'm one of those too, where like, if I hear a band like got back together, and all that, I'll go onto YouTube and be like, oh, I want to find footage of this, because I'm sure someone filmed it on their phone. So it's like,
Yes.
like, if I'm in the moment at a show and someone's just like there the whole time holding, and I'm already struggling like to see over their shoulders, I'm so annoyed. But then if I'm at home,
it's totally fine.
And I'm like, I'm so glad they uploaded this to YouTube.
Oh my God. No, that is so true, because now when we're getting into the age of like, these concerts are getting expensive. A lot of people can't afford to go. So when you do see the YouTube channel that film the whole entire show, whether it's through their phone, meta glasses, whatever, I'm kind of like, that's a real MVP move, because you're like allowing access to people that could not afford to go to be able to see the concert experience. And I think that's a really cool thing.
I mean, once again, like, I'm just someone that I'm always like thinking of each side, and it's just like, this sucks, but this sucks, and I don't know. So I'm just always thinking about things like that.
It's a weird way of being like, you understand both sides, and then you want to have a compromise and meet in the middle, where it's like, you don't want your experience ruined, but then you want other people to have a chance to experience it too. So then you can't get mad at the people that are holding up their phones. Like, I always see at shows now where it's like somebody's like doing like a FaceTime, and they're like, look, and it's like, see, I can't get mad at that. But then, like, if you're in front of me and I'm 5'2" and you're like 6'4", and then you have a phone up and then I can't see anything, then yeah, I'm gonna have a problem. It's like the AuDHD brain. It's like you're battling with both, and you're just like, it comes with good and it comes with bad, but you just have to accept all of it for what it is.
Yeah. Okay, so what is it like? What are your what is it about like concerts? Well, I guess, okay, what kind of concerts do you like? Do you like intimate? Do you like festivals? And like, what is it? What's the like good balance of everything, where you're like, all right, I've got my plan, like.
That's so difficult, because I think I enjoy all of it. I think this
Okay.
is where the ADHD brain comes in, where it's just like, I don't think there's one particular setting that I'm like, oh, I hate that, or I love it. I'm like, depending on the artist, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be in for like a good time, no matter like what the outcome is. Like, I love a festival setting. Like, I love that there's so many people and there's stages, and you can listen to like any genre, any artist, or artists you've never heard of. And I like that aspect of chaos, where you're like, you're going in and you could like find an artist that you just like instantly connect with, or you're going to be finding a group of people where you're like, wow, like this is a good crowd for like this artist. But then I've been to intimate shows where it's like, cool, you're not having to like thumb your way through a big crowd of GA people, and you're in a general vicinity where everyone has a good seat in the house. I don't think that I've had a bad experience at any sort of setting, except for Porter Robinson. I think that has probably been the only negative experience. But to somebody else, that may not even be a bad experience. I do like planning ahead for concerts and festivals, though. I think that's where I shine, because if I'm planning for a 2-day festival, it's like, you got to get the vitamins, you got to get the electrolytes, you got to make sure you have all the granola bars, the Band-Aids, the aspirin. I'm I'm mom or aunt where I'm like, I have the big person. I have anything you could ever ask.
What do you need? What do you need?
I want people to be taken care of. So I'm the one that's like planning ahead when it comes to like bigger festivals in that aspect. But if we're going to talk about just a general concert experience, I do like to plan ahead because, you know, you got to get parking and then you got to know
Parking's a
where you
situation for
are.
me for anything.
I mean, yeah.
That's my first question. If I get invited to something, what's the parking situation like? Because that is going to determine whether I say yes, no, or maybe.
Yep. Yeah, that is definitely me. If it's any concert downtown, I'm either taking public transport or husband's driving because I just can't drive in the chaos. But if there's a place with a parking lot and I can get there 4 hours before everyone comes, so then I'm just sitting and preparing and I have my spot and there's no other cars, then I'll do that. Like at Emos, for example, like that's a good venue where it's like, if I get here like at 3:00 and the doors don't open until 6, I won't have to deal with any cars. I can just go get a spot, then like walk down the little hill to get a sandwich at Thundercloud, and I'm like set for the night. Like I'm riding real good. But that is true. Parking is a really big thing. So if there is like a parking situation, it's like, okay, well, we got to get a parking pass or we're taking public transit or Ubers or Lyfts or whatever. So having that planned ahead of time is really important for me. I feel like if I don't have things planned, that's when my anxiety kicks in where I'm like, what if we get there and there's like a car accident and then like we're going to be late for the show or we're going to be late for the opener or the merch lines are going to be really long. And so I just ruminate. So I think the more I plan, the more calm I am. So then once we're in, it's like, okay, now I can relax. The merch lines are short, so I can like get a shirt or get a food or drink or whatever, and then get in your seats or the floor wherever we're going. And then I think this is where the autistic part comes because a concert is very structured. So it's like, all right, you know when to park. The doors open at this time. Then that gives you an hour to get your food, get your drink, get your merch, and then kind of sit and like kind of chill. You know, the anticipation starts kicking in where you're just like, oh, I'm so excited. I wonder what they're going to sing or what they're going to play. And then, you know, bands go on and then you're there for like, you know, 2 to 4 hours. And then once the show's over, it's like, all right, cool. You know, we like get in the car, we drive home. You always hit up Taco Bell or Whataburger or whatever fast food you want to hit because you ain't cooking when you get home.
No.
And then when you get home, you take like that post-show shower and you feel so good. And then like by the time you're in bed, that's like when you're able to relax. But I've noticed something with me that I have to be careful about going to concerts because I don't produce dopamine as much as it is. So when you get a big smack of dopamine going to a concert where you're just sensory overload, you know, there's the music, there's the bass, whatever theatrics they decide to pull, you know, smoke, confetti, all the works. So when I get home and I'm trying to decompress, my mind's still riding the high. So it takes me hours to get to bed.
That's me with anything though. Like if I get home late from work, even though I'm so tired, I'm still like I have to like wait an entire hour before I will even attempt to like lay down.
Because it's like work took all my time, so I need time to myself.
Yeah. I'm tired, but I'm gonna keep this time and hold it close.
Yes. So
and I'm gonna regret it in the morning.
Yes. I was just about to get to that part because it's like, okay, like you feel pretty good, you're riding the high, you're at home, you're relaxing, you're like finally decompressing.
That's part of the planning too, or it's like I need to plan tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna like go straight to hell. Like.
Yep. The morning after a show, my dopamine receptors are just tanked. I feel the post-show blues. I feel very low. Like I'm very depressed. I'm very like, when am I ever gonna feel this happy again? Especially when you don't plan like a concert or an event after and you're just like, there's nothing. Oh my God, like I'm gonna feel like this forever. And you're just sulking and you're like, man, that's like the most fun I'm gonna have for a while. And so like when you're feeling that and when your dopamine's depleted, I'm just couch rotting like that whole day. Like I always take the day after a concert like completely off from work because I cannot function. Like
Mhm.
I'm just like, I need to reserve the tanks. Like I need to just couch rot. I'm not cooking at all, so I'm just either making a picky plate or ordering food. And then I'm having to like dopamine sync with like whatever funny TV show or movie and just like, "Oh, I need to feel better now." And that's Bob's Burgers for me.
Oh, nice.
That's my comfort show, makes me happy. I'm like, "Okay, I feel better now." And then by like day 2 or 3, then I feel like, "Okay, I'm back up to baseline. I'm not feeling as low or depressed." Um, but there are concerts where it's like it takes me longer because maybe I've been like masking for a really long time and I didn't even catch on until I go to a concert and then an emotional song plays and then I just start to cry like instantly. And I'm just like, okay, I think I've been hiding some feelings or repressing something that I didn't even realize. That's what happened at Bruce Springsteen.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, and it was bad. I was like, I thought I was doing good. Really good. And then he's on an acoustic guitar and his harmonica playing House of a Thousand Guitars. And I was just like, ah. And then after the show, I'm like processing. I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I realized that I was masking and really like pushing down some
Yeah.
really deep emotions. And I think that's like the great thing with music is whenever I feel like I can't define an emotion I'm feeling, I can go through the Rolodex of music and be like, I don't think I'm feeling this. Okay, now I'm feeling something. Or you're hearing a lyric being like, that's how I'm feeling. I feel
Yeah.
like it's really hard for me to identify emotions at times. So when I'm putting on music, I'm able to kind of finally piece together like, "Oh, okay, I think this is what I'm feeling. Oh, this is my emotions. All right, I'm able to like let it out now finally."
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like music is like another language that a lot of people like you don't even have to hear it in like your own language, but like its own language to be able to help to identify your emotions and how you're feeling or where your mental health is at.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I For me it's very much like that. I don't really relate to lyrics because a lot of it's like, for one, I'm not really good at remembering lyrics to begin with. But also too, like sometimes lyrics can be so like out there for me, like that I can't even comprehend what they're even talking about, like but that's the same for like it's why I don't read fiction books or anything like that because I don't understand. Like, just be straightforward with me. Like, so,
Yes.
so I don't understand the lyric aspect, but like the overall feeling in general, whether it's instrumental or has lyrics, like the overall feeling is something that I've always related to. Um, this is why I got into wanting to play guitar when I was a kid,
Hmm.
and why like if I couldn't ever explain, well, I've never really wanted to like share feelings with anybody. So it would be me just locking myself in my room and like recording things and trying to like put it into music, what I was feeling and going through rather than talking
Yes,
to anybody.
exactly.
And so that's always been a thing for me. I mean, not lately. I don't write anymore, but yeah, that's something I've just always related to. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm opposite where it's like if I hear a good lyric, it'll stick. I'm like, "Ooh, that's deep." Or even when there's no lyrical composition, like you can listen to an EDM song, there's no lyrics in that very often. And if there's something that they can convey in a song with like just the way that they're mixing their sound or they're playing a certain tone and where it's just like, ooh, like this is like breaking my heart apart. How'd you do that? I think that's so fun with music where it's like people can just like pull strings and hit notes and chords where it's just like, oh, like you can like really like almost like emotionally manipulate people in that way.
Hmm.
And not in like a bad way,
No, yeah, yeah.
but it's just like it's that powerful. It's where you can like make somebody have a reaction like that.
Yeah. And like for me, I another thing that I wanted to do when I was a kid, I was like, I want to grow up and, I want to record and produce. And I never actually pursued it. Like I did a few things and I did record myself and some friends' bands where I went to the length of, all right, I need to place a mic here and like we're gonna place a mic here. We're gonna use this tone and play this over again, sing it like this. And I enjoyed being able to kind of like piece together all that because I really got into that growing up when I would sit in my room and listen to an album on my headphones and just pay attention to like what's being played over here on this side, what's over here, hearing all the different pieces. Like I just found that very interesting. And if there was something about it, I would go and like who produced this, who recorded this, and
Yeah.
then like try and like see if I could find other things that they also did. And I loved the similarities of like the atmosphere of the studio or the way they recorded and the hyper focus for me. But I also think it's very much it goes into the feeling of the song as well. And I
Yeah.
don't know. So
I mean, even just you talking about that, like I always love like it's definitely a special interest since it all like just compounds to like music. But watching music documentaries and seeing like, oh, how they like produce this album and just like all the bells and whistles that they did.
I
I love that
love that.
shit. That is like,
I love a
oh,
good
I love
documentary.
same. There's so many that I have saved on like Netflix and other platforms. And I'm like, oh my God, this looks good. I'm gonna save it.
I didn't. Okay, I've. This has been. I. I have. We'll go back to that because I did
Yes.
have a question for you that. But
Yeah.
okay, so for me, I grew up hating the Beatles. I
Whoa.
hated the Beatles.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, I don't understand it. And now that I'm older, I don't love the Beatles, but I'm like, damn, the Beatles are so good. And a lot of it, honestly, was watching the latest documentary where um, it was them recording. I don't even remember the album, but where they took old footage and like restored all the audio and you could hear them and like
Yeah.
actually like writing the songs and like it humanized them. And I was
Yes.
like, okay, I get
Mm-hmm.
this. This is super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Paul. I do like Lennon. uh, it was just, I don't know, if I found that very interesting. So,
Yeah.
but documentaries, I do that for me.
Yeah. I live for knowing the process and how they compiled everything and just how their brains worked. It was just like
Hmm.
being a fly on the wall would be so cool. But I mean, having these documentaries is as close as you can get. But oh yeah, special interest definitely is like music documentaries. It's like, yeah, I don't know how to produce or play an instrument, but just being able to like go in and be like technically learn how they all did it, how they created that sound for that specific song or that album. Oh my God. It just it tingles a part of my brain where I'm like, oh, it's so good.
um, okay, like I don't know if this is concerts or just like in general, because I grew up in a band, but
Mhm.
for me, it's a lot of sensory stuff. Um, so like a weird thing, like I used to love like kind of like laying on the ground, like during practice, kind of like in front of like the drummer. My friends would make fun of me all the time. But I would also do it when I was just like completely bored. I'm like, I'm done with practice, guys. But like when you're laying down and like you can when the drummer kicks the bass drum,
Mm-hmm.
you feel like this gust of
Yes.
air. I don't know, like I love that. Or like just the over like if the music's or the speakers are so loud that you can like feel the sound. I love that.
Yeah.
It's such a like sensory thing.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that's me at EDM shows because they have their bass
Bass so
up.
loud.
And then like you're hearing all these like little twinges and sounds and like high pitches where it does something to my body where I just feel really regulated.
Hmm.
And it's not just like from the sound, but it's just like, yeah, like the vibration that you're feeling. I think that's another reason why I like the thrill of like the like of a roller coaster where it's just like it's all that kinetic force.
Hmm.
And I do like pressure. Like there's times where it's like I'll ask George, it's like just lay on me with
My
all
wife
of
does
your
that too.
pressure and it feels so good. So I think with music, it's very similar. So like at an EDM show, it's like, I mean, it's not that much pressure,
Yeah.
it's not like, somebody's laying on me, but it's that similar, like you're getting a sensation in your body where it's just like, oh, that feels like so good. And then I think that's like really the only time where like the ADHD part of my brain can finally just shut up because it's just usually it's just like it wants to talk. It's on a loop.
Hmm.
Like there's always something that I'm thinking about. My mind never shuts off. But then with EDM specifically, that's like the only time it'll shut off and I'm feeling present because it's just these certain tones
Hmm.
and certain vibrations where I'm like, oh, I can finally feel present. My brain isn't telling me to go and do this and don't forget that. It's just like I'm able to just be one and just like feel the music and oh, it feels really good for my brain. It feels good for my body.
Yeah, these are things that I just didn't think of until you had brought it up, and I was like, yeah, this kind of makes a lot
It
of
makes
sense.
perfect sense.
I was the, my wife and son a few weeks ago they went to a concert, and so I dropped them off and I went back home and I was like, I'm gonna play guitar. Um, so I was playing guitar and I'm just like there by myself at home, but like I've always moved a lot when I play guitar, and I like afterwards realized I was like, this is just me regulating. Like
Yes.
I'm just like I'm not dancing, but like I don't know. It was just very interesting,
Oh,
and
yeah,
it was only
yeah.
like you bringing this up where I was like, okay, I'm starting to understand this now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do the same thing, like, if my husband isn't home, like, I'll just put on, like, I'll put on my music and I'll, like, just, like I won't even dance. I'll just, like, take laps around my kitchen island and, like, I'll just, like, move my body or I'll, like, be on my toes and pretend I'm, like, strutting on a runway, and, like, that just feels good for my body because it's regulating, and then
Yeah.
after I'm done, I'm like, "Ah, I feel better." I
Hmm.
got all that extra energy out of my body and I feel good. Like, now I can go and do a next task. Like, it's a really good, like, task transition for me because if I don't have anything like that, I would just be like, I'm overwhelmed with decision fatigue and I don't know what I want to do. But then once I move my body and there's like music helping me to kind of like regulate, then I'm like, all right, now that I'm like settled down and got that energy on my body, now I can actually decide what I want to do next.
Hmm.
So just having those moments are really helpful.
Yeah. Um, okay. Kind of like a similar thing. This is another question that I kind of had in mind.
Mhm.
Um, do you have, or okay, have you had times where you just listen to one song on repeat, like the entire day,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's very
or
normal.
the entire day for the
Yeah.
entire week or
Yeah.
month?
Yeah. Yeah,
And if so, is
totally.
it always the same or does it like fluctuate?
I think it'll really depend on, like, the season
Yeah.
that I'm in, because there's certain periods where I'm just like, "Oh, I'm just feeling this artist, so I'll just have them on
Yeah.
repeat or just one song on repeat," and then, something will change and be like, "Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit more upbeat. I'm just gonna have this song on the whole time," or there's even times where I'm listening to a song, I gotta go back and play that one little
Mhm.
section. It could be like a bass line, or it could be just the way that the drums are starting the song. I have to go back to it. In this past month, it was like the drum, like the beginning drum pattern before Hungry Heart. I've been listening to Bruce Springsteen a lot
Oh,
just
okay,
to
okay.
prepare for this concert. So it's like pa, pa, ra, da, and then it starts the song, and I keep going back to it because I'm like, that drum fill is so tasty, and it just tickles my brain in the happiest way. So I kept going back to it, and especially in the car, because I drive, but when it comes to traffic, I get a little stressed. So it's just
Yeah.
like it takes a lot of spoons when I'm having to do a commute, but just having certain songs. So for like Hungry Heart, for example, where I'm just like, oh, I can just go back to that drum fill and feel totally like, okay, like I'm in commuter traffic, but I'm hearing the same drum beat and I am feeling good.
That's awesome.
Yes. So that is such a normal thing with me. I've always repeated songs on a loop. I think it's like with kids and watching the same movie for like 4 to
Yeah,
6
yeah.
months. It's the same with music with me. So yeah, I'll have periods where it's just one song, or it's just that one drum, like that one drum fill or that one bass solo. I'm like, oh, I just want to keep playing this over and over and over again. But it's regulating, and it's like comforting, and it feels good. And then because you've built like the routine and the habit around it, it's just like,
Mhm.
it's comforting.
Yeah. I've gotten to where I've got certain albums or certain artists where they're associated with certain things. So I've got an album where if I'm here like setting up and I'm just here by myself at work, I'll throw on something where it's not too crazy, it's chill and relaxed, but it's like comforting. Um, some where I just like to listen while I'm driving, and maybe I need to keep watch of my speed because it's like, man, Ace of Spades, like,
Danger zone.
yeah, I was just, oh man. um, or there's certain albums where if I'm doing chores around the house and I'm just like cleaning, throw those on. Um, when I was doing weddings, and I was editing photos, I would always listen to like Meshuggah or
Oh yeah, Meshuggah.
because you got the
Yes.
same, you just got the I loved it. You just headbang
Yes.
and just um did that. But then like on the flip side, like because I was a wedding photographer for 15 years, there's certain songs that are just so triggering. I just do not want to hear. And it's quite a bit of songs.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm sure you've probably heard like a lot of the same songs being played.
Yeah, it's gotten to where like there's certain songs where as soon as I hear it, I'm like, I just imagine like, oh, father daughter dance, and like another song where it's like, I'm feeling hungry, like dinner's about to be served right
That is
now.
so crazy.
I will like there are songs that I don't like. I hate them, but my mouth starts salivating because I'm like
Yeah.
getting hungry and I don't know why.
Yep, music association with memory
Yeah.
is a crazy one, because I feel like there's like been certain points in my life where it's like it's been this album and this artist that have like taken over. So if I'm like hearing a certain song, I'm immediately sucked back to like when I was 4 years old. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah,
little
yeah,
me really like this song.
yeah.
I like that though. Or there's certain like songs there would be certain songs that I would listen to that would like trigger scent. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about like my uncle's cologne
I
or something like
I've
that.
always experienced that, and I didn't think other people did, but like I think about that a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or I don't know like the term of it, but have you ever had the experience where like you're listening to music and you can see color? I forgot what the term is. I know I have it in my phone, but I'm not gonna pronounce it because I know I'm gonna butcher it. But
I've heard of that though.
yeah.
I can't say I can't say that I do necessarily. I don't think so. I'm more of
Ah,
a
okay.
feel, like an overall feel. So I'm someone like if there's sometimes it doesn't have to be even like live, although like sometimes if I'm seeing a band live and it's like a song I'm just really connected to,
Mhm.
like my entire like I don't know, I feel I just got chills right now.
Yeah.
Like it triggers like these like chills in me and I just feel it head to toe.
Mhm.
But it could even like happen like while I'm driving, it's like a certain part of a song or something about it, like it just triggers like a feeling in me.
I feel that.
Um, so I don't have the like, and I think it goes to like the same thing of the lyrics and like I just don't understand any of that. Like it's too
Yeah.
out there for me, but it's more of a feeling thing for me.
Gotcha.
Um, the emotional aspect of things.
Mhm. All right, cool.
Um, are there any artists that you like? Okay, I'm bringing this up because I just talked about
Yeah.
like being too emotional,
Mhm.
um, like that you just really connected with, but you've never met them before. Like, so
Yeah, I don't think I've met any artists. I think the
I've just gotten now to where I'm like, I don't even want to meet anybody. Like, I would just rather like not have any of that tainted by me meeting you and then you being a
Yeah.
total jerk. Um,
Yeah, I don't think there's artists that, like, I've formally, like, have, like, met and had, like, a deep conversation. Like, a friend had a nonprofit, at the time that we would do, like, certain dates of Warped Tour, and we would do, like, the meet and greet signups, like, at our certain tent. That was really, like, the only time I met artists, but it was just kind of like a hi, hello, and they were there doing their
mm.
signing. It wasn't really like I've ever met an artist and we've sat down and had, like, a conversation. That's, like, never happened.
I guess what I'm getting at is like not even meeting them. So, okay. Um, it had to been like maybe a year before he died, but um I saw that Tom Petty was playing, and this is like about a year before he died.
Yeah.
Um, I had always wanted to see Tom Petty live, and I told my wife, I was like, I have to like we're gonna go see Tom Petty. I think we had to drive to Houston or Dallas or something for it.
Mhm.
I was like, I have to see him because this dude's gonna die at any point. I just know it. And I
Yep.
loved that show so much. So I'm
Oh my
at this point,
gosh.
we're living in a different city. I'm back in San Antonio for work and I'm driving back. I remember because I'm at the gas station pumping gas and I get a text message. I think it was from my wife. It's from somebody, but saying Tom Petty died. And I drove home like I was so sad. Don't know the dude, you know,
Yeah.
or like recently for me it was Ozzy.
Yeah. Oh.
I lost it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like I was just getting off of work, driving home, and my son texts me, and like I'm driving, and I was like, oh my god, and I just put on uh Mama, I'm coming home, and I
Yes.
just cried on the drive home, like by myself. Don't know Ozzy, like but like
Yeah,
there's just
that's
like
happened
certain.
twice.
Okay, yeah. I
Yeah.
was just curious if like if,
Yeah, that's happened
and I don't even think this
twice.
is like a neurodivergent thing, but
No, I
I just
mean,
thought,
I think this is just like a normal experience to have just like with music in general. I
yeah,
think there's certain artists where maybe you've been wanting to see them, but you just didn't get the chance to because you weren't expecting them to pass so soon. Um, I think that artist for me was Michael Jackson.
yeah,
Yeah, because his music, I feel like carried me through my childhood because I feel like with Michael as a person, there was something about him that like I understood in him and I'm like, "Oh, this music really resonates with me." Just kind of being misunderstood and being an outcast and just feeling really out of place in the world with like your like just with people, he didn't really like connect with adults. He understood kids a little bit better and I felt like that was me in reverse where it's like I didn't really identify with kids. I just felt really off,
mm,
and that definitely carried through adulthood. So when he was planning the This Is It tours, there was rumors that the tours were going to come to the United States after he was done doing the
Oh, I
residency in the
remember all
UK.
that. Yeah.
And like my parents were like, we're going to get tickets for sure. We are going to see him. Like, doesn't matter the cost. Like, we will see him. And I was so excited. I was like, because the only other times I've seen him were just music videos, YouTube, whatever, anniversary specials they were doing on TV, and then, just concert footage. That's about it. But I was in summer school when I heard he had passed away. It was junior going into senior year, and our phones were blowing up. All the kids were just like, hey, everyone's saying that Michael Jackson died. And there had been hoaxes, online and stuff where it's like, nah, it's just another hoax. Like, there's no way. But then once I got home from summer school and saw it on the news, I'm like, oh, no. And then a few months after, they had the This Is It film playing. So it was all like the rehearsal footage preparing for the residencies and stuff. I'm like, man, what this concert could have been if he would have been alive. That sunk deep. Oh, yeah. And you don't know him, but it's just like you feel for him because it's like, oh, there's a part of me that understood him. And that parasocial relationship being like, oh, well, if I was friends with him, I would be looking out for his back so he wouldn't be like manipulated or been mistreated. Just like, I would have hoped for somebody to have done that for me growing up, which like never really happened. So I knew it's just like, oh, if we were friends, like I would have had his back. Like I would have been down for this dude. I think that and Aussie was probably the recent one because I think what shocked me was I had streamed back to the beginning to see like that whole
Oh, I lost it during that too. Like,
oh
I just
man.
remember watching it going like, oh, it's about to happen. Like, and
That's the
I already knew
thing.
it. Like, I was just like,
You
this
knew?
is
I wasn't even thinking that. I
no,
was just like,
I just
oh, he looks so good. And then, he's going to just live his life out in retirement. Kelly's going to like get married and everything. I'm like, he's got so much to look forward to. Like, I know it's a big part of him that was going to bum him out, but I was just like, he's got time.
no,
I wasn't expecting
I
like a couple of weeks.
watching him
I was like,
sing
oh.
Mama, I'm coming home. Like I was watching that and just like, man, it's about to happen. Like even me, like I was like, this feels like a funeral or something. Like
Man, see,
and
I
not that
wasn't
much longer after that, I was like,
I
oh,
wasn't
God.
thinking about it that way.
I think it's also too because I
Oh,
grew up with him. You like with watching
yeah.
the Osborne show and all that. And so then I feel connected to everybody. So I'm like, I feel for his family. And like, so it was just like, I don't know what, like,
Yeah.
and I wasn't like a real big Aussie fan growing up. Um, so it was just like, I don't know, it was just a weird kind of feeling for me.
Yeah, I think maybe for me, I was more hopeful about him staying alive because my husband and I had saw him at Aftershock in Sacramento, I think in 2016 or 17. And we had saw him there, and this was after he was like, getting really clean and he was like moving really well. I'm like, wow, he sounds really good. He's doing really good. And then I back to the beginning, I'm like, okay, he's sitting down, he's chilling on the throne. It's okay. I think he's just having to kind of take it easy. I was not
Yeah.
expecting him to pass, and that did hit really hard. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, thank God I was able to see him once. And I felt the same way with Chester Bennington too.
Yeah.
I only saw them Lincoln Park with Chester once. So when he passed, like that hit really hard. But I'm like, at least I got to see him once.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's been me the past few years where it's like there's certain artists that are coming into town where I'm like,
I
oh,
think about that a
I
lot.
haven't seen Willie Nelson. I should see him now. Oh, Bob Dylan's touring. I should see him now. Bruce Springsteen. I should see him now. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm like playing catch up with these artists where I'm like, oh, I appreciate their music so much better now, but I need to see them now because I don't know if something's gonna happen. And I feel like the next artist would be like Queen, because like Brian May and Roger Taylor, like they're getting up there. So I'm like, oh, I gotta see them, because I
Yeah.
wasn't able to see Freddie because I was born like a few months after he had passed. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I had no hope there. I was just born a little too late. But yeah, I feel like now there's certain artists where I'm like, I should see them now before something happens, and I don't have that regret, because I would feel very regretful if I don't see them. So now that I'm marking them off, I'm like, okay, like I saw them once. I'll be okay if they pass, But if that happens, or it's like there's an artist that I haven't seen and they pass, I'm gonna be like, shit, like why? I wasn't planning this. And then again, it's all that planning. Oh, it's like, oh, I'm gonna plan to see them. And you have that locked in. But then when it all gets derailed, you're like, what did I do? Why? Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, that next band is probably Queen. I'm like, I gotta go and see
Yeah.
them before more people start, going. Oh, yeah. I'm see now I'm like I'm talking about this, but then I'm like thinking, oh, Paul McCartney's coming to San Antonio in September, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I would have rather have seen like George, but he's gone,
Yeah.
and then John, he's gone too, and then I mean, I appreciate Ringo, but I'm like, I don't know, like
Poor
Ringo.
Ringo.
I know Ringo plays at like the casino, like little like arenas and stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like he's the only one that's still like is holding his own health wise. So I'm like, I think I might have time. But Paul, I'm like, oh, I could see Paul. But there's something about it where I'm like, I'm not feeling John, but if I'm like, hey, the tickets have gone down and they're cheaper, and I'm like, oh, I don't need to be on the floor to see Paul. Like, I can be in the 300s and be like, all right, cool. We saw Paul McCartney. Yeah, I feel like there's certain artists, I feel like there's like a certain pull to where I'm like, oh, I need to go and see them. But then the one thing I don't like is when there's all these artists that are like, this is my last show, like better come and see my tickets. And then 5 years later, it's like, guess who's back? It's Cher. Or Elton John, I'm back. And it's like, dude, you said this is your final concert like 2 years ago, and now you're back with a new LP. That's when it makes me mad, because I'm like, oh, like you manipulated the audience thinking, oh, this is the last time you're gonna like settle down, and then like few years later it's like, I want more money. I'm gonna tour again. Yeah. So
I mean, that was with Ozzy too. Like he had so many like farewell
he
tours.
did.
But like
But I forgive him though.
I do too. A lot of it
There's a
was just
soft
because it
spot.
was just like, you shouldn't be on the road, Ozzy,
But you're pushing it, and that's
it.
good.
Yeah, so anyway.
Yeah.
There's some artists that I'm like, okay, that's fine. But same with, I kind of
Yeah,
agree too.
it really depends. Yeah. Yeah, it really depends. But to be honest, if Cher did a comeback tour, I'd be like, I would go and see Cher. I mean, she's done like 5 or 6 farewells over the past like 2 or 3 decades, but I'm like, I would probably go and see her. She's Cher. Like, she's a badass bitch.
Oh my goodness. Okay. This was probably what I was expecting. Like, we just went all over the place, I feel. And is there anything that you wanted to mention, or something like we were talking and you were like, oh, and it sparked something and you'd want?
I guess I wanted to give some perspective on if there's other people that aren't diagnosed, or they're self-diagnosing and they're struggling with processing or just going through a concert experience, but then maybe hearing our conversation being like, I know that feeling, or it's like, I feel that all the time. I guess I wanted to talk just to be able to say to anybody who's like listening that you're not alone in this weird, crazy experience of a brain we have, and then throwing music into the mix. I know it can be a little overwhelming. I know for some people, like listening to loud music can be overwhelming, but then there's ways to like dial it down, or there's ways you can like use music to really just like help to decompress, or to help with getting emotions out that you may not even know that you were suppressing. And I feel like you should go out to a concert at least once. And especially now, I feel like a lot of arenas are starting to accommodate for people like us. Like when we were just at Moody Center, now there's actual like areas for people that are seeking like a like kind of like a place to have it be more quiet or like sensory like
Hmm.
areas, or now they're handing out sensory bags, so they're giving you free tools. So if you're going to a concert for the first time and you're needing some like resources, that now that they're starting to become more available, that I think just going to a concert at least once would be something to look forward to, even if you do need to leave like an hour early, or, you know, you need to step out because everything's just too much. I think there's something to music where it's really healing and it can give us a lot of answers to how we're processing and feeling, and knowing that you're not alone and that you have people around you in this community that are maybe feeling similar or maybe needing to have some questions answered. So I hope like we were able to do that,
Yeah.
because I don't want people to feel like that they don't know what to do, or they don't have enough tools, or they don't know precisely who to talk to about it. So if we've answered those questions, I hope we did, and that we didn't go on too many
Who knows?
tangents.
I'm gonna look back at this footage and be like, "Oh God, this is just chaos." Why didn't her
I
husband come and stop us?
I mean, I think we got on a pretty good roll with certain subjects of like going to concerts and then how we perceive music, or anything that we need to just like decompress or task switch. I think we covered a lot of bases. I think I'm proud of us. I'm so proud of
Yay.
us.
I'm just gonna say I'm proud too, and I'm not gonna judge myself or judge us afterwards when I'm
Not too
going.
harshly.
Yeah, we'll see how much I edit out. I don't know. But yeah, I thought this was a fun thing for me. I think I was mostly excited because I think music is like it's definitely a hyper focus for me. Like ever since I was a kid, and because we had such a long time before, like when we first chatted about the episode going up until like meeting today to sit down and chat, I've had a lot of time to like really think about a lot of like how music relates to just I going back to where we were talking about like when we found out we were neurodivergent, and you go through this like backwards thing of like piecing together everything to like figure out like, oh, this all makes sense now, and kind of all that. And for me it was kind of like the music aspect, and I've thought about it here and there, but it really kind of like started hitting me. I was like, wow, like music really is a big part of me, mainly because it's been a sort of language for me, an outlet, a way to regulate in many different ways, not just in like my own feelings that I need to get out by making music, but um, by putting something on in the car and like headbanging or like doing the thing on the wind, or the wheel, or um, moving around, getting chores done, um, with songs that I enjoy. And so it's just a lot like that I was just thinking about, and I just thought it was a fun kind of lighthearted conversation. I don't know.
I
So
think finding having this conversation is just like music just like it brings out such a big like autistic joy in
yeah,
me.
yeah, for me too.
Yes. I think that's why I'm always like finding ways to like dopamine seek with it, or to find those little like daily autistic joys with music. It's always there. And I think that's like probably why it was like my very first coping tool as a child.
Mine too. Yeah.
Because, when you're surrounded by like people that like don't really necessarily agree with if it even was a diagnosis when they were trying to figure that out with me as a kid. Um just being able to have like one answer where I'm like, this feels good. Going to concerts feel good. Listening to music feels good. Being able to like drum solo with pots and pans with spoons as a kid felt good. Um, I think that's like my biggest blessing is just like being able to like piece that together when I was so young and not having any resources or tools and still having that be like the core formative piece of me in just music in general, just being like, that is my happy place.
Mhm.
Like that's where you're going to like meet me, not masked me, not like shy me, like just you turn on music or you take me to a concert and like that's me.
Yeah.
That is me. You're going to get all authentic me when there's music around.
Yeah. For me, it was when I would play, because I would headbang and get crazy on stage, and everyone who knew me would be like, "What in the world? Like that is not you." Because like normally I'm just this shy, quiet person that just stays to himself, and then I'm up on stage and like, or I guess was, I don't do that anymore, but um, just go crazy and throw myself on the floor and um, totally different person. But honestly, not really. It was just like
Yeah.
I'm maybe I am being judged, but it's okay. Like it's supposed to be a show, and
Mm-hmm.
I can just do whatever I want and sort of be myself and not, so interesting. I don't
Yeah.
know to think about.
It's the best. I think that that's the best feeling in the world when you're just like, I'm going to do whatever I want at the show and nobody's going to look at me weird. And I mean, that's really the only place I feel like I'm completely unmasked
Yeah. Yeah.
because,
Me too.
you're singing or you're asking, somebody put me up for a crowd surf. And it's like totally great. And then you're screaming and you're just like regulating at the same time and you feel so good. Ah, man. Yeah. No, music is the biggest part of me, I feel. And that's like never going to go away. I'm always going to be going to shows, having fun. Like my goal is to be like those really like old ladies that you see like on like Instagram and stuff, like run around in mosh pits and they look like they're 70 years old and they got their like, orthopedic shoes, but they're like, I'm like, goals. That I want that to be me for sure. I'm like, yes. Pink hair, old lady shoes, going around a circle pit, that is goals. Like
That's
that is
awesome.
going to be me.
Awesome. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I didn't really think that it would. I feel like it's been kind of a self-care kind of conversation that we've had, which I guess is kind of nice.
It's very nice.
So, well, anyway, thank you so much for being here and
Thank you for
doing
having
this.
me.
This is a lot of fun. So, yeah, thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you. This was so fun. I'm so glad we had this conversation. It was just, it was well needed for my soul. I really
Awesome. Me
appreciate
too.
it.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And yeah, like I said, this is a season finale, but I'll try and sprinkle in some more episodes here and there. So if you are interested, reach out and let's talk about our fun little brains. All right. Thank you. Bye. Cool. Thank you.
That was so
I looked at the time and I was like, shit.
good.